Looks like we are back in action here as we see our next team hopping into the water. That is why it suddenly went dark. Remember, we are exploring the deep sea here, so without light, it is completely pitch black. Teams have 30 minutes to go from wheeling their cart up to the side of the pool to finishing all of the tasks, meaning that setup time is included in that. The robot we see that's going to go into the water is affectionately named Babs. Now, of course, this robot has competed in different competitions over the years, but right now we are calling the Team EI for their drivers. Of course, this robot also has represented a particularly famous school out of California in the movie Spare Parts. Now, not only is this robot a movie star, but we expect it to be a star when it comes to exploring Atlantis as well. We are clearing out that camera. That view you saw a moment ago was the robot. That view, our team is carefully checking to make sure everything is in order before they get started. Looks like we are checking out, making sure all systems are working. The robot's still on the edge of the pool as far as I can tell. Teams are sitting down, getting ready to control. And we are entering the robot into the water. Babs is diving under the surface and the camera has cleared out a little bit. We're still pretty fuzzy. Looks like there's some interference there. Looks like the robot's moving back towards the back of the pyramid. I can see them looking towards the pyramid from this view. We see it exploring with its flashlight. Remember, all the lights are off right now before they turn on the light switch. So teams have to carefully consider what order they do tasks in. Next up, we see the robot going for the treasure chest. They are bypassing the different weights, trying to press open the treasure chest to see what code is needed. That code does change between rounds, so what we saw the typewriter repairman use last time may not be the same as what this robot has. Looks like they need to trigger it a little bit better. It's slowly lifting up. Carefully looking at it, they're pushing it again to make sure the treasure chest opens. Looks like it was triggered as well. We may need to investigate as to why that's not opening. We do have several divers here in the pool, making sure all of our systems are working. Our pyramid door is still closed. The pyramid will open, of course, once the correct combination is displayed. That combination is within the treasure chest. Yes, and we have our diver going down to open up the chest as well. We will check that mechanism here after this round. The robot will dive back down, using its camera to help maneuver itself down towards the bottom. And yes, it's a different code they have to enter onto the push buttons. Looks like they are largely ignoring the lights as well. We see this now from the robot's point of view as it moves towards the buttons. Each button must be pressed in that particular order in order to make sure that door to the pyramid opens. We saw some difficulty in the last round with the different game pieces tipping over as well. We're hoping to see less of that. I know it's very frustrating for our teams when that happens. While these teams have had a bit of a chance to practice over this weekend, they have not had too much time. So unexpected happens all the time here. We see them moving back towards the top of the pyramid, hitting that last button that they need. I believe that is number 3 for Babs. Team EI handling the robot as well. One of them will be manipulating the tether. One is driving and one is helping that driver know what they need to be doing. Looks like we are getting that last button pressed as well. And will we see the door open? The door is opening. Will they move back towards to try to do the weights or turn on that light switch? I'm not sure if they have a measurement device on board their robot either. Looks like we are looking down the center of the tunnel. Oh, we are behind the pyramid. The light switch is still off. They're looking for that, seeing if that will help them navigate through the pyramid. And they are carefully lining up. Remember, that lever just needs to be pressed down. It will be held down once it is. Just short of that as well, carefully realigning themselves to press down the lever. And we are down. The lights should be back on. Let there be light here in Atlantis as we move forward. The next object they are going for is one of the weights here on the bottom of the pool. The weight placement within that square is randomized before the start of each match as the robots play, rather each mission. Remember, 30 minutes. There's only 30 minutes for robots to score as many points as possible. Not all robots are capable of every single task, and they will prioritize based on the time remaining. We are 8 minutes into this round. We are aiming for the next weight, carefully lining up, at least trying to push it off the pedestal to get some of the minimal points available. I believe it is 10 points. 10 points every time a weight is removed from its starting position. They are lining up again for another attempt there. We will probably see a lot of teams go for those external objectives, the ones on the outside of the pyramid, before they try the inside. When they go inside the pyramid, if they move the relic, they have 30 seconds before the door closes. So with that risk, it is much more appealing for teams to try to do the objectives on the outside of the pyramid, just in case the worst thing happens and they get trapped inside. Babs has opened its gripper mechanism, going for the PVC pipe. Oh, and they are hooked on one of them. Clamped on. Will they have enough thrust to bring the ROV back to the surface, or just at least to move the weight? Looks like they are moving it. They're gripped on as well. It is moved off of the platform, and they are crawling on the bottom of the pool, moving back towards the surface. We see our tether operator reaching down, trying to grab the weight, carefully moving it, and they knock it over. It is still moved off of the pedestal it was on, though, so that is still points for our EI team. The next objective they are going for, we see them looking back towards the camera reverse side of the pyramid. They turn around, they will face towards the pyramid entrance, moving around, lining up, going down the tunnel. On the entrance right now, the tunnel is clear. Of course, if that relic is activated, the bubbles will turn on, meaning that vision will be much more difficult for the operator. There are 2 rooms here in the pyramid, the library and the relic room. Will we see them go to the library or the relic room first? Going for the library first means they can get those points for lowering the levers, the power switches as well. Those will reveal more information. And we are going for number 1 here. Number 1, the first lever. We're carefully lining up. We see from the robot's point of view, and it is triggered. That is 1 lever down. 2 more to go. Every lever activated is 20 points. There are 3 levers, meaning there are 60 points possible. Thank you for joining along with us. If you would like to read more about the rules and the point scoring system, there's more info available on the website for the National Underwater Robotics Challenge. If you don't already have the link, a simple web search with those keywords will bring you to the link. There's more information about the challenges, the backstory behind why we're exploring Atlantis. Now, of course, as the legend goes, the map to this hidden temple, hidden pyramid here, was revealed from an expedition in our very own Grand Canyon here in the Grand Canyon State. And as I've been talking on there, moving into the exciting relic room, we see the nuclear green glow of the relic in the robot's view. The driver, considering their next steps very carefully, moving that relic will trigger a very exciting event, and they want to be prepared. Looks like their tether is a little bit caught up. They're moving towards the top of the pool as we see in the view. They are moving forward, trying to measure the height of the marking there. There's red tape there on the side of the wall, which we can't see from the view currently on the screen, but the robot did see the tiny mark. There it is on the screen. They have to measure the height of that, measuring the pressure in the pyramid. They are now lowering their focus towards the relic, making sure that they can carefully line up. They're ready to make that run when they can. I see our driver receiving some coaching from one of its teammates, making sure they're angled correctly, using the angle to measure the height of that mark. Now, of course, the environment is reset between every round, meaning that it could be a different number this time than what the team saw last time. The robot is moving towards the relic. Looks like they are trying to make sure they're not tangled up in their tether. Some of these robots may have power on board their robot or outside of the pool being transported down the tether, meaning they need to have a higher voltage of power so that the loss within that long cable does not impact performance. The robot is carefully lining up to the relic. Once again, that countdown clock starts as soon as the relic is moved. 30 seconds might feel like forever to the drivers, but it is also not a very long time. Looks like the robot touching the bottom of the pool, using their camera to carefully line up. The gripper opening, creeping forward, moving towards that relic. Will we see them grab it? They are being very tentative here, understandably. And carefully lining up, not wanting to knock it, making sure that when they close those claws, they have it securely in their hold. There's some careful discussion happening behind the computer there as the drive team lining up. And the relic is knocked over. Will they go for another run or will they try to escape? That is 60 points if they can recover it from the pyramid, and they're just short of the grab. Will they go for attempt number 3? No, the robot turning around, following the tether out. The bubbles have started. The wall has not collapsed. 30 seconds remain. 30 seconds left. We see the vision being obscured by that wall of bubbles there. The pyramid rather, fighting back as the robot escapes. Will we see the door begin to shut? Looks like we are clear of the pyramid. The robot will not be stuck inside as the door starts to close. The tether getting caught up a little bit there in the door. Oh, and they're free. The pyramid almost having the robot in its clutches, but the door shutting, the robot escaping. Our expeditioners trying to decide their next course of action as they move towards the back of the pool, going for more of those weights. Now that they have time, they are about halfway through their allotted time. Now there is bonuses associated with finishing their run early. So they have to weigh the options there. Would they like to move a weight or take those extra points from finishing early? Still have 2 weights left to move. Rather, those weights, those are ruined fragments. with special concrete text on the side. We want to make sure we investigate those, so bringing them to the surface will provide more points for their team. Final scores will not be announced here on the stream, but tomorrow at the awards ceremony, we will have our final rankings available. Looks like the robot is returning towards their driver, trying to decide that next course of action. See the hand ready to grab the robot as well. Retrieving it. It is almost back in the human clutches there as we move forward. Will we see any other objectives try to be scored? Nope, we are hands off. And it looks like their attempt is done. Great work to both of the teams who have competed so far. We have 3 more machines yet to run tonight. We will be starting every half an hour. So our next match will be in 13 minutes. Once again, final scores will not be announced. However, I will try my best to make sure I announce what the amount of points is for each objective. We have 3 more robots. Remember, we have 2 different divisions being represented here. We have adult division and middle school, rather pre-high school. So far, we have seen a couple of the adult divisions run. We're going to reset our objectives here, and then we'll be right back with our next run in about 12 minutes.